Hi, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Holistic Health Hub. My name is Maggie Chilton. I am a sleep and hormone specialist, a registered holistic nutritionist, and mentor. Over to you, Sally.
Oh, hey, it's Sally again, and I'm holistically fit professional. Welcome.
Who's next?
Hi there, I'm Shauna Daru. I'm a naturopathic doctor in Toronto in Canada.
Hi, I'm Harry. I'm in Canberra and I'm the learning difficulty expert.
Yay! And a token male.
Exactly. Keep you all on track.
We have to have the different perspective. It can't all be just women.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this week we thought we would talk a little bit about gratitude, and we were having a little bit of a giggle beforehand because we're grateful for lots of different things. So again, we're just going to let it flow, and whoever wants to start can start.
Well, let's just say we've had a bit of a challenging week for whatever reasons, a few of us, and it really helped me become, get more grounded and come back to reality by being grateful for what I do have. And as part of that, and why we were laughing, was that I was really grateful that I signed up for Netflix. Like I really am. It gave me a bit of an outlet. And even better, I'm so grateful for this. I got a free trial for a month. So I've done it for nothing. Yeah.
I thought you were going to say like 10 days.
No, for a month. I've chugged through Narcos. I've chugged through Mindhunter or something.
Sorry, what was the first one? Narcos?
Yes. Oh,
okay.
My God, incredible. And then some other Mindhunter thing, which was a bit confronting with all these serial killers. But then the last one was The Crown. And whoa, it's been awesome. So I'm really grateful for having some time out and being able to turn off from everything going on throughout the day and having some time to just chill and watch some really compelling drama. The Crown's pretty awesome, I've got to say. It's been really good.
I'm with you on that. If there's a good period drama, a British period drama, I'm in. That's what I meant.
So,
You're betraying your roots there.
Well, I was born in Canada, but I grew up in England. But most of my family, I think, is English, although some is in Australia. So a little bit of all over the place.
Yeah. My father's English. So, and I was saying before, I grew up thinking that Winston Churchill was my grandfather. The only pictures I had around the house of Winston Churchill. And it wasn't until I studied British history at school that I realised that he wasn't my grandfather.
And you're obviously not the first, because does anybody watch Friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's a thing in Friends where Phoebe thought that this man in the picture frame was her dad, because her grandmother just kept buying these picture frames and it had the same guy in it. So it's exactly the same storyline. Until somebody said, I think that picture comes with the frame.
Oh, I'm having an earache already. But laughing, how grateful are we that we can stop and have a laugh? It really is important for our health and our hormones and everything. Having a bit of a cry, it's awesome.
Yeah. What
How
about you,
Shauna?
Shauna or Harry, take it away.
I'm a great fan of the gratitude practice, and I've had a lot of clients do this. You can actually reset your optimism clock by just a simple exercise. A minute in the morning when you wake up and a minute in the evening, just being grateful for something that's happened the previous day. And it really works. You do it for 30 days and you can reset your optimism clock. I've done it with many, many clients. I've done it on myself. It really works.
I've
It's
never
so
heard
simple.
of optimism clock before. That's a great way to phrase it.
I think I might have made that one up, but I didn't even.
We'll trademark it right now. Optimism
I
clock.
love that, Harry. I love that.
I do too.
You're terming it something.
So if people are blue, they can switch themselves up towards optimism just by doing that simple exercise for 30 days. It's based on Harvard research.
It's a long one, but it's not, snap out of it or just think differently. There's actually it takes what, 21 days to start a new habit. But I love the 30 days. That's a real commitment.
Mm.
It could be, you know, I had a great breakfast yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Or, you know, somebody said hello to me, or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the sun shining. It's not 17.
Snowing.
It's gone back up to the 20s.
Yay, no snow today. Yay.
I didn't need to go down to Amazon and get my snow pants, which I would never use.
Yeah. Yeah, I think of gratitude as a way of sort of rewiring and starting to pay attention to what's positive, because I have struggled on and off through my whole life with pretty bad depression, and gratitude is something I always come back to as just a way of helping to notice the good in the world, even if my brain chemistry feels off. So I do think that, you know, the more you start looking for the positive, the more likely you're going to see it the next day. So it's like you start watching for something to be grateful for, which is part of the beautiful rewiring. So I talk about that a lot in my clinic as well, just because it is like, it's so simple and so powerful and doesn't take a whole lot of time.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know where I picked it up from, but I started doing something probably about a month ago. And what I do is, when I write my gratitude journal now, it's the things in the future. Like, I'm grateful for this wonderful job that I have, or I'm grateful for my full bank account. I don't have it right now. It's what I want in the future. And it's starting to show me that this is working. Whereas before, yes, I was grateful for my family and my children and, you know, the usual things. But when I started thinking about things that I wanted in the future that I was grateful for, things shifted a little. So that's my little trick that I do that I really enjoy, because it also makes me think about what I do want and sort of think long term. You know, you could always say something like, I'm grateful for the fabulous vacation that I just booked today. You know, you didn't book it that day, but it's something that you're going to do in the future. So I really enjoy that.
So you have a journal and you fill it in every day?
Mm-hmm. Now, yes and no. Sometimes I just don't feel like it.
Yeah, right.
And I don't hold myself to writing in it. If I don't want to write in it and I have, like, you know, had a crappy day and really don't want to relive it, then I won't write anything. And I won't force myself to be grateful or force myself to be positive. I just go, no, not today. You know, because we all have those days when we just like, I don't want to remember today. Just not make a mark in my journal.
I do it every day when I go for a walk. I really literally connect in and think about what I'm grateful for. It just connecting back with nature and getting me back grounded and letting go of the shit that's been happening around me and just focusing on just the little things. You know, my kids were nice to me today. I'm so grateful for that. You know, it made a difference where they were helpful rather than going against me, because it made things flow a lot better, etc., etc. And it's just little things, you know, family, friends, whatever, particularly friends, because they're so supportive, and I'm so grateful for that, because we are blessed. Blessed for our health, blessed to have wonderful people around us, blessed that we have a house over our head, you know, that there's so many things to be grateful for. And when we stop and think about it, it helps us, you know, reposition where we're at and put our lives back into perspective. And it's a really, really healthy habit to have, I think, to practice gratitude every day. Keeps us along and keeps us really grounded and in perspective, and don't get carried away with all the other rubbish that goes thrown at us every day.
Yeah, I think especially with social media, because you hear it not just from, you know, let's say not just from Facebook, but I mean, Instagram is not really a place where people go and are particularly negative, because that's not what Instagram is, right? It's about positivity and beautiful images, that kind of thing. But, you know, with Facebook and Instagram and instant messaging and all this stuff where people can just blurt out whatever they're feeling in that instant in time, there's so much that sort of filters into you without you noticing it that can really, really drag you down if you're not aware of what you're reading. even if you're skimming through it, like I know when Shauna came on, I said, I sent you a message that I was offline. I'm like, good for you. Because that's what I'm learning more about, is just switching off, turning things off, and not get, like you say, Sally, not getting caught up in all this stuff that people feel that they just have to share. You know, it's just like, it's obviously relevant to them. Or the way I look at it is, somebody posts something, let's say on Facebook, they're for the most part looking for a reaction, be that positive or negative. But sometimes, you know, they can post something and it's blatantly that they're wanting people to dive in and have a conversation. Sometimes I think, oh, I'm not sure that's a conversation you should be having on Facebook. Maybe that's something that you speak to your friends about. And even if your friends are on Facebook, private message them. You know, sometimes I'm kind of like, I'm not sure I would have posted that. So it's always good to disconnect and get away from that for a while, I think.
But, you know, even magazines, whatever, there's a lot of pressure put on ourselves, you know, just to measure up, you know, to look skinny, to have the latest clothes, to fit in with the fashions and whatever. You know, it keeps at you. And, you know, we don't have a limitless supply of dollars, for starters, and even it's not just about the money. It's about, you know, when you come back to a place of gratitude, all of that stuff doesn't matter. You can let it go. You know, it puts it in balance that, yes, it's nice to have a certain amount to buy things that make you feel good when you're wearing them, but you don't have to have the latest and greatest and, you know, keep up with the Kardashians, basically. I mean, oh my God, I couldn't keep up with the butts being in, out.
I know nothing about the Kardashians, but now I do.
And, you know, the latest is to have your hair jet white with a certain amount of the black strip in the middle, and it's measured out. It's
is it the ombre thing? Is that?
No. This is for, you know, the GT stripe up the middle where the hair's dying out. And it's measured, like my hairdresser said to me, clearly measured millimetre by millimetre all the way along to have this thick line down the middle and blonde down the side. And, you know, if you're trying to keep up with these sort of pressures, what are you doing to yourself? Like, oh my Lord, like, you know, step back and be thankful for what you do have.
I mean, people like me and other people do that because they just haven't been to the hairdressers in a while. So you'd be like, oh my gosh, I need to get my roots done. But people actually,
you're stylish right now.
Yeah,
you are.
That's why I got it
ahead
done.
of the fashion.
To me, it looked odd. I'm like, oh no, I don't like that. I'm obviously not trendy.
But, you know, you're grateful for who you are and what you've got, and, you know, it's really, really important. And I'm grateful that who you are, and you're not trying to be somebody else. There's nothing, you know, you can see them a mile off where people are clearly unhappy with themselves because they're trying to be someone else.
Yeah, and
they're not happy within themselves. And when you express gratitude and really feel gratitude, it doesn't matter. It all goes, you know, you're happy within yourself. You put up with your bits and pieces and you go, well, it is what it is. It's what I'm born with, and there's only so much I can maneuver and manipulate, and do I really want to change anything anyway? I don't know. We all come across that with our clients every day, I'm sure. Do you think, Harry?
And I think if you're like that as a mum, you can have a very positive impact on your kids because they don't have the maturity to resist the enormous pressures they're under.
Oh,
You
yes.
know, the pressures to wear the right things, to watch the right shows, to, you know, kept up to date on social media. I had none of those pressures as a kid. We didn't even have TV. We just went out and played and climbed trees and threw apples at the cows and stuff like that. And the tree.
Yeah, I was talking to my boys the other day and they were talking about TV or something, and I was like, and I sound like my mother. I said, we had a black and white TV when I was growing up. You know, how long has color TV been around? And I thought, whoa,
Yeah.
what am I doing? You know, we had the Atari that was like the doot. You remember that?
Yeah.
And now, it's crazy.
So they're under so much pressure, the kids, a massive pressure. And it's very hard for them to, I think, be grateful if they're not getting a role model from one or both of the parents. So more important for your kids than for yourself, because if you can set these patterns young, it'll empower them for life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
To resist
really
the sort of
true.
things you're resisting, Maggie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Sean, you've got a 14-year-old daughter. How? From what I can gather from you, she's got a very good head on her shoulders.
Yeah, she's pretty good. I mean, I really consciously built our relationship starting like when she was about 11, like hanging out together regularly just to keep the communication going. So I sort of could see it coming. I really struggled through my teenage years and didn't really have much support or anyone to talk to. So like very consciously decided to do it differently. So that's turned into like our, 8:30 p.m. dog walks. So every single night we walk the dogs together at that time, looking straight forward in the dark. Everyone's kind of tired, and that's actually where we talk. And it's, become this really good, field for, talking about, about body image, about boys, about, about school, about marks, about pressures and all of those things. And it, we're so comfortable with it now that I can poke on some of the harder topics and just check in a little bit, because I'm sure, it's got to be really hard to, to try to fit in at that age. I think she's actually doing remarkably well. Way different than I was at that age.
Now, do you find that you come up with the topics, or do you sort of wait for her to start a conversation?
It goes both ways.
Okay.
Yeah, we're pretty close. So, I might talk about what I was into in the day. Or she might lead with what her marks are, or, or the things that she didn't want her dad to hear before. Yeah. But
and then you go and tell your husband, oh, by the way, she said this.
Oh, no.
Good.
No,
because you
unless it's it's pretty good. And sometimes I have to let her have it, and sometimes I have to draw the line and make the boundary. Like she went to a dance a few weeks ago, and the outfit she wanted to wear was totally inappropriate. So I had to get right down to it and say, okay, so if you were at a party and you saw a girl dressed like that, what would you think?
And must have been really bad.
Well, it wasn't really bad, but I thought it was inappropriate. And, and I didn't think that was okay for a 14-year-old who didn't know what she was attracting to wear. So, you have to, still a parent, I have to put down the rules. Yeah.
Coming back to the gratitude with children, like we were talking about with Harry before, I just think there's so many pressures on kids from every angle, from schooling, from social, from everything, and they're becoming overwhelmed. And I think if they learn to practice gratitude more, it will get them in a better place. I know with my kids, there's, just with clothing wise, there's emos, there's eshays, there's all different sort of segments of.
So were those brands?
Well, there's a style of wearing clothing. So emos are sort of your dark blacks, your punk sort of look, and then the eshays are the brands with all this Nike, and I don't know, I'm just learning it all, but there's a lot of pressure on them to fit a particular group.
Right.
And and to afford the clothing and all that sort of stuff. And I go, it doesn't matter. But then I have to put myself in their shoes and go, well, it does matter, because they're in social groups and you got to sort of fit in. And it's really difficult because you can't be I'm not that I'm a hippie or anything, but just laid back and go, let that shit go. It doesn't matter. But I'm finding it really hard. And Harry, you might be able to help with this, with how kids can cope with it. But let it go at the same time, because it's just ridiculous.
There's been quite a lot of research done about social pressures in different schools.
Yeah.
And the more expensive the school, the more expensive the school uniform, the stronger is the pressure on them to dress and fit in socially. So the dress codes for private school kids are much tighter than those going to state schools.
Right.
And it goes, it goes right through, they grow up and go to work and they wear particular brands of suits and this and that. So
if
brand
they're in
awareness
private
is,
school, are they wearing a uniform or are they wearing regular?
often they wear uniforms, yeah.
So how do they express themselves that way? Because everyone's dressed the same, right?
Yeah, they have uniforms away from school and in school. Their whole life is constrained by uniforms, just the brands are different.
Okay, so do you
They think they're choosing them socially, but they're not. It's dictated by the tribes.
Okay, because I was interested in the, when you were talking about the private schools and the state schools, that if people in the private schools are wearing a uniform, does that mean then it's the outside, like when they've left school, what brands they wear, or is it within school what they can get away with brands?
So I've got 4 kids that have been in private school since kindy. So from 4-year-old kindy, they wear uniform all the way through to the end of school.
Right.
But as part of that, there's casual clothes days, there's social events, there's weekends, there's parties, there's whatever. It's the social side, dancing class, for example. So you got to find your mold or your group and fitting in there. And, I want my daughter, for example, it costs a fortune for her to look shabby because that's their look. You know what I mean? And it has to be brand shabby. It's not just shabby. It's not Kmart or Tesco or whatever. It's shabby. Like
shabby chic, is that what they call it?
I don't know. To me, it just looks grubby, but it's just hanging baggy stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably the look. But I don't know. When I was in Hawaii, I spent about $500 on clothes just because you couldn't get it here, and that was even cool. And everything was long, sloppy stuff. Crazy. So, yeah, I think there's a lot. So, sorry, Harry, it was just sort of clarifying a bit there about the uniform thing. So, yes, they all wear the same uniform, and, yes, they amend it a little bit. Girls have it a little bit shorter or whatever, although they're quite strict about that. And they've got the guards on the doors every day when they leave, so they can't really undo ties and that sort of thing. So it's just a stock standard thing, but it's after that, what they're wearing on the weekends and things. And casual clothes day for fundraisers, they have them quite often and that sort of thing.
Yeah, so the social pressures are strong. If you've got a uniform in one part of your life, that'll tend to go over to the other side as well.
So if you're then in a state school, I guess that's what we call it, state school, where you can wear pretty much anything.
Yeah.
There is
some state schools have uniforms, some don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the social codes are looser.
Right. Yeah, because we don't
both
have
in school and outside. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have what were you saying, Sally? Casual day or something? It's pajama day. I don't know how old that goes to. I'm still in the young ages, so maybe by 13 they don't have pajama days anymore.
No.
Onesies days in year 12.
Yeah, onesies. Yeah.
We have like wacky hair and that kind of thing, but it's different in Canada. I don't know, because I say it all the time. I live in a village. There's no private schools here, so.
So how do we teach these kids gratitude then? Like, how do we get them to appreciate what they've got and to be grateful? Like, it's an interesting practice because it's very not typical and normal in this culture.
You know what? I ask Shia, my youngest, every night, what are you grateful for? What was the best thing about your day? And I have to stop him now and say, no, it can't be about mummy. Because automatically I would say, what are you grateful for? Mummy or family? What was the best part of the day? You. We need to pick other things. But I'm very grateful, but that's what I do with him. Now, I haven't done it with my older one yet, but I think that's what I do. But that's just because that's what I do. So I don't know what you guys do.
I do it in the car, but because that's my captive time with the kids, driving them to and from and whatever, and they can't jump out of the car, so they can look out the window but they're still listening. And I just think repetition has to sink in at some stage, because particularly when I'm dealing with teenagers, it's like, oh, not this shit again, mum, oh, whatever. But it has to rub off slowly. That's all I can think, because they're just falling on deaf ears, but a small amount has to sink in. If I just keep at it,
To be consistent.
I don't know. Be consistent, yeah. But
Yeah.
and just, I always cite examples of little things that had happened for myself that I'm really grateful for. I said, I'm really grateful for that the car's working today, that I can get you there, because, you know, the other day it wasn't working. And, you know, just little things, so that it can slowly sink into their psyche, and hopefully they'll remember it down the track when they stop being teenagers and start being adults. I don't know.
And they will. And I think that's the way to do it. You drip feed it, but you don't force it down their throat. I remember I had a call from my younger boy, and he was 24 at the time, and he said, Dad, I've got something important to tell you. You need to sit down. So I sat down. He said, I now understand why he didn't take me to fast food ever. And I'm so grateful.
That's like one of my best days of my life.
Oh my God, you deprived him of chocolate sundaes and fries and burgers and all that.
I just refused to take him to fast food ever. Just never
good
did
on
it.
You. Good on you.
That's awesome.
Oh,
But
man.
it took him till 24 to acknowledge that he approved of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's
It is.
awesome.
But those kind of things just make me go, oh, I'm doing my job. That's good. Yeah. My boys were talking this morning about, so Shia said, Mummy, does gelatin come from pig feet? I was like, pretty sure it's a cow's stomach, but I'm pretty sure it can come from cartilage pretty much anywhere. And I said, why are you asking? Oh, that's what everybody says in school. And I said, well, you don't have to worry about it, because your marshmallows and your gummy bears are vegan, so we're all good. So they sort of get used to the terminology. But it's funny how the things that the kids talk about in school that my children bring home and ask questions.
Yeah. And coming back, probably just finishing off, but it's in schools, I think, I think we've discussed it before, but in Australia, mindfulness is coming into the schools as a very strong part of the
I love
curriculum.
that.
And I think gratitude would be part of that's integrated into it. And I think, every day, if the teachers, wouldn't it be ideal if they could all get the kids to be great, practice gratitude every day as part of their daily practice? Would be incredible. And it would really help them get through, and also be more resilient with what they're dealing with. It's difficult being a kid these days. There's so many pressures on them from a really, really young age, and to cope with the stress and the pressure.
Do you think we had the same pressures though when we were growing up? I mean, maybe
No
they were
way.
different.
No way.
No way. We didn't have a 24/7 world,
But maybe back
show
then we thought we did. I mean, I remember not having a particularly great childhood growing up at all.
But it wasn't so fast. And, I don't know about you guys, but even with education, you only just had to do the study. You didn't have to excel and perform and, be above the rest. So it's not just a degree these days, then it's the master's, then you have to get at the top of that level, and then it's only not 1 degree, it's going to be 2 degrees, and you're competing with a number of other people for the same positions for jobs. So there's a lot of pressure.
I think that's a very, and you're Australian, but that's to me a very North American thing. Like England, it's not so drummed into you that you need to go get a degree. I mean, I did, but in those days, it wasn't sort of drummed in that was the way to go. If you were a laborer or whatever it was, then they were happy with that. There were a lot of schemes out there, as in government schemes, that would pay for you to be a secretary or laborer, whatever it was. So going to school or going to university like it is in North America seems to be like the thing you have to do. And it sounds like it's kind of the same thing with Australia. But just going back to your other point, when you were saying that they don't, like when you were growing up, you sort of have to excel. It was just you do the work and you get it done. But from my point of view and from what I see from a lot of women sort of my age, we are now doing that. We are now going back to school and feeling like we have to excel and we have to do really well. hence, hormone imbalances, and perimenopause just comes and slaps you in the face because, you're in such a lot of stress. So I didn't have it early on, but I have it now, which is a little weird when you look at it that way.
I mean, it's
the whole society. We're all under more stress. You are,
I agree.
and the kids are now. And you look at all the stats, they're all going the wrong way.
Yeah.
But it's another topic for another day. But moving forward, everything's going online, work-wise, job-wise, and there's just not going to be the jobs out there for the kids today when they're coming out. And the research is showing they'll be having 7 or 8 career changes throughout as a minimum for their career.
More than that.
Yeah, 80% of jobs will require coding. It's changing. So you might be the most overqualified barista with 3 degrees pouring coffee, and we have to change our mindset about what education and what it's used for and how it can be applied. And I think fitting in communication skills, adaptability is going to be really key. But I mean, it's a whole another conversation, but it's shifting a lot. So when you're in that state of gratitude, it will help you cope with the stress and the pressure of everything that's coming at you, and where am I going and how I'm going to make a living and blah, 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 and the cost of living and housing and all that sort of extra stress and pressure on kids these days is going to be enormous. So...
And, our children, I like to think that I'm grateful for them, but they're also lucky to have us because we're in this holistic space where obviously we understand the pressures that are going on, which not everybody does. And I think we, even just the 4 of us right here, we have access to so many resources because we're in that bubble, if you like. So... I guess we're sort of the luckier ones maybe at the moment because we live that lifestyle, and we understand from what you were saying, what everybody's been saying today, we understand how important gratitude is. And not a lot of people get that yet.
Starting to, but let's spread the word. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. That's what we're here for.
And having fun with it with Netflix.
I can't wait to get back to next episode.
What are you watching right now? Are you watching The Crown?
Yeah, the second series. Yeah, it's getting messy.
Is it actually true to life, or is it, a bit of
I don't know. I think it's pretty in life. Yeah.
Because I obviously grew up in England, but I don't know the royal history.
I think so. Well, I've just put my dad onto it and he's the expert, so I'll let you know next week when he turn through it. But anyway, yeah. So, I've enjoyed today. I thought it was brilliant.
Good.
I think it's
I want to know what Shauna's watching. Do you actually have time to watch Netflix, TV, whatever it is?
Lately, no.
No.
That's a vacation thing.
If you did, what would you do? On vacation, what would you...
I don't know.
What's your genre?
What's my genre? I love reading. I would pick a book. And I like science fiction books.
Really?
I like complete escape fantasy.
Whoa.
Interesting. I wouldn't teach you for a second.
I know. But that's the biggest escape you can get.
Wow.
Harry, you're surprises now, aren't you? Harry, surprises.
I will surprise you. Seeing as we were talking about The Crown, I went to school with Prince Charles.
You didn't.
Really?
Oh my gosh, royalty. So which one, if you watched The Crown, which one was it? What age group?
No, I haven't watched The Crown.
Maybe
I just wanted to make the link back to, because there was an episode.
That's really cool.
In The Crown.
Was that at Timbertop? Was that at Timbertop, Harry?
I was at the main school when he was at Timbertop, yeah.
Oh,
wow. That's so cool.
Remember we used to have showers now in Long Row. And I was having a shower one day. And he had, of course I had my hot tap on. We all had a hot tap on except for him. And I said, why would you have a cold shower? Why on earth would you choose to have a cold shower? And he said, well, because that's what my dad did. And I got this sense, wow, you wouldn't want to walk in his shoes. My goodness.
There is, have you got to that point yet, Sally, where there is that scene where he runs into or walks into the showers and it's freezing and he literally stands there for about 5 minutes shivering.
No, I haven't
and
got to
people
that.
are just watching him going, ugh, and then they walk off and then he's like, oh. So that sounds exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow, Harry.
But we haven't got to the juicy bit yet, though. So, what do you like to watch? What do you like to read? Something
Me, I like to read thrillers. And if I'm watching, I like the British police shows like Vera, something like that.
Vera, I've never heard of that one.
It's good, yeah.
Like a British, like a
British detective show, and it's a woman in her 50s, very eccentric.
Mm-hmm. I like British.
Driving around in a battered Land Rover solving, the latest murder.
I wonder if I watched that because I love stuff like that. Oh yeah, I love British TV shows. Strangely enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, good old period drama or British cop series. Yeah. And you know what I really, really miss though is I miss British humor. That's what I miss.
Fawlty Towers, stuff like that.
Or Rowan Atkinson, or did you know all of these people, Shauna?
Not really. No.
Did you grow up with the young ones? The young ones. Oh my God, I love them.
It's very, very different from North America. North American humor is very different. Mm-hmm. The only thing that I really liked about North American humor was Friends. I really resonated with that. But British humor. See, I was talking to you guys today about it. Wasn't I talking to you? Or was it Shauna? I was talking to you guys today about the coffee thing. And I much prefer Seinfeld now that he's a 61 or 2-year-old now with a shaved head. I much prefer him now than when he was in Seinfeld. Is that weird?
Go figure.
I like you better now. Were you actually funny? I didn't really get the Seinfeld. But again, that's North American humor, right? So it's British humor is a lot more dry, more sort of in your face, I guess. So that's what I miss about it, just having a really good laugh. That's why you three are here. To make me laugh. All right, does anybody have any last words of wisdom?
No, we just keep doing what we're doing. I think practice every day, engage in it. What did you call it, Harry? Reset your optimism clock. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's a really good way to start. A minute in the morning and a minute in the evening. And I like how Maggie has a gratitude journal. And I just think implement it into your life every day, and it really helps you get through.
And we can try and spread it to maybe one person a day. In our Facebook groups, or
engage your kids with it. Just put it past them every day. It'll rub off.
Definitely.
It will.
Yeah. All right. It was wonderful, wonderful, wonderful seeing you guys again.
Yeah, likewise.
All right. And we'll see you same time next week.
Great. Thank you.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can keep bringing you more videos and more laughs.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Thanks. See you.
Bye.